Howdy. How's everybody out there in YouTube land today? I hope this finds you well. Hope the weather's great where you are and you're getting spring-like weather, being able to get some gardening done, some yard work. I'm having a little trouble getting this to focus right. It wants to ghost out on me, and I've been playing with the lighting and stuff, trying to get it right, but maybe if I hold it at the right angles from time to time till we get some paint on it, you can see what we're doing here. But this is 5x7 canvas. I got it at Michael's. It is Artist Loft. You get these when they're on sale. You know, check for their sales. They have several sales a year on their canvases, and take a good coupon with you and get you some money off on these. You get some good buys that way. This is a 5x7, and I took a look at my design and I decided that I wanted to make this design a 5x5. And that means that I was going to have an inch on each end of this because it's 7 inches this direction. So 5 plus 2 equals 7. 1, 2, and 5 is 7. All right. Simple math. Measure an inch in on this end and an inch in on this end. Take your straight edge, make a line. Then I divided this into 4 quadrants. This is called a diagonal stripe. So I had to make stripes across. I divided it in 4 sections. Since this is 5 inches, it was 2.5 inches in and 2.5 inches in here. Make your line. Same thing here. 2.5 inches in, 2.5 inches in. Make your line. Then I needed to make these lines on the diagonal. So I measured 3/4 of an inch. Now you make yours however far apart you want to make them, but I made them 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And that measured out just perfect to put my lines in. And then I did the same thing on the other side of the squares, 3/4 of an inch, to be able to put these other lines in. And I just went from one hash mark to the other and just laid my lines in, and it is how it lined up. So hopefully you can see how I did that. Make your little hash marks, make your little hash marks, and then make your lines in. And I made mine 3/4 of an inch apart. Your mileage may vary. You do it however you want. Now these stripes are going to be different colors in here. We're going to make this real colorful. You could like make this all one color and then this next circle around another color, but I want it to look really stripy. So I've got a bunch of different colors of paint laid out here, and we're going to paint this up and make it look really pretty. Get myself situated in my chair a little bit here. I got my micro brushes, and if you haven't seen my other videos, micro brushes I get from a place called Welborn Gourd Farm, and you can look them up on the internet. These are just plastic with a little teeny tiny piece of foam on the end of them, and they're best brushes I think I've ever seen in my life. And I fought getting them for a long time because I thought, Lord have mercy, them things can't be any count. But they proved me wrong. All right, now we're going to put a little paint down here. We'll have several different colors going of the paint. And I'm just going to lay out a few colors of it. And hopefully I don't drag the canvas through it. And I generally make some kind of a mess before the day's over. So you just have to stay tuned and see how I do with this. But I picked out some colors here that I thought would be pretty laid in on this. We'll just start with a few, and then I may have to add some other colors. We'll see how it goes. All right. And I think maybe a little yellow in there would look good too. A little dried piece of paint will get off the desk there. All right, now we got enough to get started with here. Let's take and put a yellow center in this. And you know how I like to do? I like to put my outline in there first. Now, it may take more than one coat. because I'm not priming these canvases. If you prime them first, you probably won't have to put 2 coats of paint on. It'd probably cover a little better. You can use gesso or white paint, put it whatever kind of background on it you want. But I like to see my lines show up real good. They show up better on white background. So I would probably just do it with white or gesso. Gesso, if you're not familiar with it, if you're not into painting, gesso is a chalk paint. A little thinner than what your acrylic grade of paint will be. You can make your own gesso. There's lots of recipes on the internet for making it. Now the center, I'm just going to do one solid color. Because that, it all kind of joins, right in the center. So and I want the paint on there fairly thick. I'm covering up all them pencil lines in there as good as I can with the first coat. If I have to go back over it with a second coat, I'll do it. I ain't afraid of second coats of paint. It's easier on something like this than if you're painting a landscape or something, because you have your geometric design to follow. Okay, now wipe my brush down. See, that's the nice thing about these foam brushes. They clean up so quick because it's just foam. You're just squeezing the paint out of the foam. Now, we're going to go in with different colors around on the stripes. And I'm going to do this one right here with this blue color. Being careful not to get it into the yellow paint. Now, you could hit that with a heat gun if you wanted to dry that. If you do happen to get the blue into the yellow paint, wipe your brush off, because you don't want to drag yellow paint all through that blue. And then we'll come right down through here. Laying in your outline. And once you have your outline in there, then you just come back and fill it in. It's just that simple. And we got to do that on every one of these stripes. Just be patient with the process. Now we'll do this one with a tan color. So I'm trying to do colors that are somewhat complementary to the yellow. It's going to lay up right again it, so it needs to look nice with it, kind of complement it. You can do them whatever colors you want, whatever kind of combination you want. There's no set rules to this. Whatever floats your boat. Try to get it just as straight as you can along those lines, line it up good. Now I'm going to come right in here. I see a little place I didn't get real close, so I'll fix that. I'll wipe my brush down again. And now we'll swing this around so I can get to the other side of it good and easy. Now I'm going to come in with some of this color, kind of a greenish blue. I believe this one's the one they called Caribbean. These are all apple barrel paints. It's the Walmart brand of acrylic back in the craft section in your Walmart store. Not everybody's Walmart store has a craft section, but fortunately we have a halfway decent little craft section. It's not the best, but they've got quite a few things in there come in handy. And from time to time they run sales on their apple barrel acrylic paint. So there's another thing that you can keep a watch out for. Any kind of latex acrylic paint, interior house paint. I get a lot of paints on sale from Home Depot online. They're Behr brand interior paints. They'll put on sale several times a year, and it's $1.68 for an 8-ounce jar of their flat acrylic paint or latex paint, and it comes in all kinds of colors. So that's a pretty good deal. You can mix them and make whatever colors you want out of them. You can even make metallics out of them by adding some silver paint. And I may show you how to do that on the borders on this one. Teach you something new. Okay, so now we have those two colors, and I think I'm going to come in with a light blue. Yeah, that'll look okay right next to that. So I'm thinking, well, you got kind of a greenish blue and another shade of blue, and do you really want to put another blue in there? But yes, I think I do. There's enough difference in them that I think they'll look nice there. Now, I'm not happy with the way that went over that line. So I'm just going to take this clean brush and go in there and pull that piece off while it's good and wet. I got the outline done, and I'll fill in the middle. And you just keep going around and around until you get the whole thing painted in with whatever colors you want to use. And I'm getting my paper towel and my paint. I knew I couldn't do this without making some kind of mess. So let's get that out of the paint there. All right. Now, I'm going to add, let's see, I've got the yellow. I've got that shade of blue. I've got that shade of blue. I've got the tan. I've got the green. I've got that shade of blue. So I got 3 more colors over here on this side, and I got a bunch of other colors on the other side. Let's just add some pink and some red. Oh, come on. And some purple. We're going to put some bright colors in this. I'm going to try to stay away from anything too dark on this one. Okay, now just pick a side anywhere, and I think this pink will look real pretty next to this light blue. So we'll start there. And there we go, laying that one in. This is the widest stripe section in the entire piece. We've gone from the smallest to the biggest, and then we're going to go back down to small sections again. But these sections here don't connect the way the other ones do. You just lay that paint in, just like that. And see how much easier I think it goes on easier with these micro brushes than it does if you are using a paintbrush, bristle brush. But you do what's most comfortable for you. Now, I'm going to come in with purple next to that pink, because this purple will look complementary with this green color over here. Just outline it right there next to the pink. Wipe the brush down because I got just a touch pink on it, and I don't want to drag that through the piece. Try to do it as straight as you can. Easy does it. Right up next to that green color. And then we'll come right down our little line there. And that completes our outline. And we go to filling in. I'll have some gardening videos coming up for you this week. I've got one more of these videos to do for you of the painting, and it's going to be, I think, probably the best one. I mean, you'll be the judge of what you like the best, but I think it's going to be the best one of any of them that I've done. Saving the best for last. Although none of these are slouches. Every pattern that I've done here is really pretty. I'd love to have a quilt made out of every one of them. If I had my way, well, and I do, but I don't have the resources, but I'd have quilts hanging on every wall. I've only got a couple. There, we got that now. I'm going to come in then, red, right in here. Red will look okay next to that tan. Just pull it right along that line. It's laying it right in there. Turn that just a little bit, get a little better angle. Go in that direction. Don't be afraid to turn your work when you're working on them. When I was a kid in school, I loved to sit and draw, but I wasn't real big on drawing like, a lot of kids love to sit and draw action figures or portraits or that sort of thing. I did have a friend that she was real good at drawing people, and she taught me how to do a little bit of drawing. I'm not real great at it. I'm certainly not as good as she was, but I can draw basic things for drawing people. But my big thing was I love geometric patterns. And they came out with a thing when I was a kid called a spirograph. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not, but it was like little gears that had holes in them that one would fit inside another one or on the outside of one. And you put your pencil in the little holes in these things, and then you whirl it around, and it would make all these geometric patterns and shapes. And you could overlap them. And I always thought that that was really cool. Make all these things that kind of resembled gears and steampunky type stuff. To me, that was really cool. I'm almost done with this section here. Making sure I got all the canvas covered up in that section. Then I'll turn it. And this time I'm going to put lime green over here on this side. Wiping all the paint out of the brush. Grab some of this lime green. Let's lay that right in there. See, these colors all look so cool together. They all just kind of complement each other. And there we go, just laying the color in. Just like that. I think that really looks pretty. Hopefully you like the way it looks too. Now we got a place in here. It looks like it needs a little help. Straighten that up just a little bit right there. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. That looks much better. Okay, there we go. I knew I'd do it. Oh. Now, we're going to start back in using some of the colors that we used before. And I'm going to start with the yellow that I used in the center. I want to use that out right out here next to the purple. And outline it first. And then you fill in the center. Just trying to think of any other stories that I could tell you while I'm working on this. I guess I could probably tell you the ones about me getting into scruffies when I was in high school. Man, I'll tell you what, I was a fisticuff. It was always somebody else that started it. They think they could bully you and push you around. No, they wasn't going to pull that with me. When I was little, 5, 6, 7 years old, I got pushed around quite a bit. And I got my belly full of that and decided to start standing up for myself. And by the time I got to high school, whoopings commenced. One girl decided that she was going to start picking on me. You're ahead of me in school. And she got all feisty. She's going to whoop me, she said. And I let her carry on with that for a few days. I just kept ignoring her, thinking eventually she'd go away. And she decided that, no, she was going to keep on with me. So one day she come chasing me into my own classroom where, I was getting ready, I think it was world history class she chased me into. She telling me how she's going to whip me. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, you're going to get your chance. You meet me across the street after school. We had to get off school grounds, so we wasn't in trouble with the school. I said, you meet me out across the street from the school after the bell rings, and we'll see what you got. And she just kind of looked at me wild-eyed because she wasn't figuring that I'd come up with that. And after school, we met across the street from the school, and she kind of tucked tail. I said, well, now you've had an awful big mouth about how you was going to whoop on me. Let's see you start. You throw the first punch. Come on. So she decided to slap me, and I decided to mop the sidewalk up with her. The teachers didn't like her. She's a loudmouth girl. And they was all looking out the windows of the school, rooting me on to whoop her. And I gave her a whooping, buddy. Tore her up. She left me alone after that. Then I whooped a boy once too. And I was a freshman. And home economics class had been a rough year for me, and I loved home ec. The teacher hated me with a passion. And we had to make a dress for the home ec class, and I had made my dress, and teacher didn't like it, and she kept making me rip the seams out of it till shape far. There wasn't hardly nothing left of this material for this dress anymore. And I was so sick of that teacher that I could have screamed. Well, when we got the dresses made, then the teacher said we had to wear them to school one day. And it was a dark blue print material that my dress was made out of. And I wore it to school, and a bunch of us girls was standing around in a circle having a conversation in one of the classrooms before school started. And I felt something whack me in the back. And when I turned around, boys was laughing up at the chalkboard. They had thrown a chalk eraser and hit me square in the back with it, with that dark blue dress on. And I had chalk all over the back of me. Well, the girls brushed me off, got me straightened up, and I took the eraser back up, asked them which one of them had done it. The one that did it had owned up to it. I said, don't ever do that to me again. And I turned back around and went back talking to the girls. I wasn't standing there 30 seconds before that chalk eraser hit me in the back. I threw my books down. I left the eraser lay. I flew into him. He thought that he had been caught in a sawmill. I turned him every way but loose. Whooped the far out of him. One of the seniors come in and got a hold of me and drug me off of him. I'd probably still be beating on him to this day. And it was funny because just a few years ago, his sister got to talking to me on Facebook, and she and I got to be good friends. But I told her one day, I said, do you ever remember your brother coming home from school all beat to hell when he was a freshman? And she says, oh, yeah. She says, he said that a couple of the older boys had got a hold of him and whipped him. And I said, well, he lied about it. And she said, what do you mean? And so I told her I'm the one that whipped the far out of him. And she laughed and laughed. She says, I bet he deserved every bit of it. I said, well, I did really kind of feel bad about it later on, that maybe I was a little too rough on him. But yes, he did deserve it. And I warned him, and he didn't want to listen. His uncle was my dad's boss at the factory. And my mother like to died. She says, Lord have mercy, girl. Don't you know when a boy has a crush on you? She says, and here you were whooping on him. And I said, well, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't be interested in anybody that didn't have any more respect for me than that. I'd worked hard on that dress. I said, if he's that immature that he couldn't just come up to me and say, hey, I like that dress. I like the color of it, or, whatever. Well, he couldn't be nice about it. I don't have no use for him. There's right and wrong ways to approach people. He approached me the wrong way. He found out. There's another one I whooped too. Boy lived down the road from us. He come from a bad family. His dad was an alcoholic. His mother, she didn't have a whole lot of gumption. And I had ponies. My dad would buy ponies at the sale barn that were green broke or not broke at all and bring them home. And it was my job to train them to ride. And so I had a bunch of ponies. Well, one day after school, I was out there in the barnyard with one of the ponies that I was working with. And a kid come up to the house, and he went to flicking a lighter in my pony's face. And I told him to cut it out. And he just laughed. He thought that was funny. And I said, now you're going to listen to me. You're going to stop doing that. You need to go home. Well, he went home, but then he came back. And in the meantime, my mom had come home from work, and I told her what that kid had did. And she went to looking for my little brother. And, oh, he was only maybe 3 years old. He wasn't very big. She looked out the yard, and my brother was headed to the road. That kid was calling him out in the road. My mom says, you go out there and you tell your brother to come to the house. She says, you send that boy home. And I knew what she meant. So I walked out there and I told my brother that my mother wanted him at the house. And I told that boy, I said, now you get on. And he says, you can't make me. I'm not on your property. So I stepped out on the road and I said, well, guess what? I'm not on my property either. And then I proceeded to beat the fire out of him and send him home. My mother got in the car and followed him home. And my mother and his mother then proceeded to get into it in the driveway down at their house. I mean, it didn't come fisticuffs like with me, but my mother gave her well to understand that boy was never to come back up to our house again. Keep him at home. Last I heard, that boy had ended up in the penitentiary. I don't know how long for. He never did graduate school and amount to anything. A sad case. The father got the daughter pregnant. It was a sad family bunch they had going there. Okay, we're just working our way around here. I'm just looking at colors and what I have used in the other kind of circles or whatever you want to call them as I went around and doing different colors. And you see, I took the tan and I put that up here, and then I took the yellow that I had in the center and put that there. And then I took a couple of the different shades of blue that I had and put them in there. And then I need to grab this color blue right here. And that would be this one. And I'm going to put that right over here. Okay. Yeah, go right back on that. Fill that in good. There we go. That looks good. Now, we've used all those colors, and pink and purple and red I think I'll go with pink and purple for these two sections here. And I'll do pink over here. That way it's adjacent. Get pink here and pink up there. I may just leave them as they are and put hangers on the back. I could put them in frames. I could take all 6 of these that I'm painting and put them in like a great big frame all together and do one big piece with them with some kind of a pretty background behind them. So I'm not sure yet. I'm still brainstorming that part. If you've seen one that you particularly like, or you like all of them and you'd like to buy the set, or whatever, let me know how you'd like to have them finished up, and we'll work something out on them. Now, I've got some places back here in this. I still got some more to do around the edges, but I see some places in here that need a little touching up. Maybe another little coat. Because like I say, I don't want to see canvas shining underneath the paintwork. I want them painted. So we're going to go back over that pink color there. Color it in. That's looking pretty good there. Now this pink here that we just put on, it needs kind of spread out just a little bit. So we'll touch that up. That looks good. This purple will pull that little corner down there just a touch. See, it's a good time just for kind of touching things up just a little bit. Okay, now we want to put in some I don't know what's going on with this computer, but it apparently quit at some point. And I don't know where it quit. I just noticed that it had quit while I was doing my painting. So I'll try to kind of catch up here for what I have done. I drew out my design, and this is called the diagonal stripe. And I've been laying in my colors, just there's been a slight method to my madness. I didn't want to put any two colors next to each other. You know, like you wouldn't put the red next to the pink, you know, and there's just different ones that you want to treat a little bit differently. You got to go with kind of complementary colors to each other. So the purple and the red don't look bad together. We put purple and red right there next to each other, purple and red right there next to each other. The blues and the pinks and the greens, they all just kind of complement each other. So I've just been working my way around and around and around this piece, working to the outside corners of it. Let's see, I think I'd like to do some more yellow right over here in this corner. The yellow and the pink will look okay together. Now let's wipe that brush down a little bit more. Okay, now I'll grab that. And get that corner in there. I'll be watching this video back before I put it up for y'all to see. See how messed up it is. Some kind of YouTube issue or Google issue or something. It knocked me off. I hate it when it does that. Now, according to this side here needs just a little bit more yellow paint. So we'll ease that right in there. While I'm in the yellow. And that's looking pretty good right there. And let's see, this side. Just looking at the camera angle gives me a little different view of it than what I see when I'm looking straight at it. And right there. Okay, it still says it needs a little bit more on that camera angle, so we'll ease a little bit more yellow paint right in there. Okay. It could just be the way that light's shining on it too. I don't know why I'm having so much issue with my lighting in here this evening. That's rather odd. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with this blue color on this corner. Okay, and then I think I want to do some lime green down here in this corner. I'm sorry about the video cutting off like that. I don't know what the issue was. But it made me rejoin my own show. Hopefully it hadn't been off too long. Okay, now we've got the design all painted in. We got our stripes in. Now we got to do the border. We need to figure out what color we want to put in the border. And let me just take a look here. I've got yellow. I've got the mint green. I've got the blue, this blue color. I've got tan. I've got red, purple. I've got the light blue and the pink. So the only color that I don't have right up against this border is this one. And this is the Caribbean blue. And that would be this color right up here in the corner. So let me move all my paints off to the side just a little bit here. And let's get this Caribbean blue. And what I want to do to start with is I'm going to put in a little outline along my design. Oops. Just outline it right up there next to that. Since this is a bigger section, I'm going to use the brush to finish it. But I want to get my outline in there first so I don't get into my design with my paint. And I like using a color that I have not used on this outside section on either section. Well, I don't know that that's probably Caribbean blue right there. But hopefully it'll not be too noticeable. See, I've got green there and green there, and so tan would maybe been, I've got tan right here, but you know, something you don't have a whole lot of right next to your borders. So now I'm going to grab my brush, get some paint in it, and let's just paint that. Load that brush up and pull that paint right through there. Get up here on the edges of the canvas. Come right down, finishing it off. Now, I will have to go back over that again. I know I will. But let's get the borders painted first, then we can hit it with some heat and go back over them again. And for some reason, this thing's glitching, and I don't know what's up with that. It needs to stop doing that. Google's acting wonky tonight. Okay. Now, got that. We're going to go pulling this down through. So it goes on pretty quick. But we will have to go back and put a second coat of that on there. I can see that happening. Let me grab a hold of this so it stops moving around on me. Okay, that's looking good right there. Let's grab the heat gun. Lay a little heat to it and dry that paint. And I have a nice, powerful heat gun. This is a Cobalt, come from Lowe's. And it doesn't take no time at all to dry paint with it. Let's see a few little places I'm going to need to touch up in there. But this is how we roll here. We're going to grab a little more paint and put a second coat on that just to smooth it out. Just like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just smooth that out. We're going to need a little bit more of this. There we go. And that's not the right color. It's this color. Well, ain't that special. There we go. Grab that. Slap that paint right on there. Now, we got a stripe of this color green here. We're going to put that right through there to touch that up. And the same color is right here, and it needs a little touch up. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now we're going to grab the micro brush and a paper towel. Let's wipe our micro brush down real good. And I'm going to go back in on this purple. There's a lot of light places in it we got to touch up. Oh my goodness, what did I just do? Wasn't even watching what I was doing. Okay, so take the micro brush. I'll show you how to clean things up. Back in, clean it up. Get all that purple paint out of that. All right, now we're going to come back in with that color right over top of that and touch that up. Wasn't even looking. Ah, burr. All right. Back in on the purple. Finish up my painting here. Get it all touched up. Blend it in. And this purple over here needs a little touch up. So we'll hit that with a little bit of paint. This is how we roll. So these are right there next to the line good. I'm determined to slap that purple paint every place, ain't I? Okay. Well, I'll be dead burned. I'm smacking things left, right, and sideways over here. All right. Now, I have this little spot right here I wanted to touch up. All right. Now, let's wipe the brush down. And this lime green in here needs a little touching up. We're going to lay a little more paint in that. Just drag it right down. I don't like for it to be showing canvas through. Okay. That's looking good right there. Now, wipe the brush down. Got a little tan that needs a little touching up here. So let's touch that place up in it. It's not the whole piece that needs it. There's just areas where it needs to be filled in a little darker. Looking nice and smooth. Okay. Now, I've got this color blue right here that I'm going to pull a little more blue into. The whole thing doesn't have to have a second coat, but part of it does. So just go over it where it needs it. Paint it in. And you'll be so happy. I got some green over here on this side that needs another hit. Pull some paint up with that micro brush and layer in. And see this color blue right here. I'll have to brush down a little more. Lay that in just like that. Now that's looking just pretty doggone good, if you ask me. I'm pretty happy with that right there. Let's see, this darker blue color needs a touch right in there. There we go. And now I'm going to grab a little red for this section. Darken that up just a little bit. And there we go with that. Okay. I hope you check out all of my URLs down in the description of the video. I've got an Etsy store with all kinds of pretty things in there. Soap and oils and jewelry and dream catchers, my artwork, just all kinds of stuff. You really enjoy that. Go take a look and see what I got over there. And if you have any questions about anything there, be sure and send me a message and I'll answer you. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? I got a Patreon channel, and on the Patreon channel, there's several different levels that you can subscribe to, and I'm putting some videos up over there on Patreon of some of the things that I do, and there's a bunch more coming. I'm working on some other things for Patreon, and I do giveaways for each level of patronage each month. So you might want to get over there and get in on that, because I give away nice stuff. And I do a Twitch show Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So you might want to come over and watch me do my artwork, all different kinds of things that I do over there. And I do a live stream here on YouTube on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we just kind of hang out, chat, get acquainted, tell stories, have fun. You never know what we're liable to do. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Etsy, YouTube. Brenda G's Designs every place you look. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to say, and that's Brenda's Crafty. Be like Brenda. Bye.